Well, folks, it's that time of year again. Time for me to make a seasonal TBR that I may or may not stick to because I am a mood reader. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Marissa and I like to talk about books and book design. Today I'm going to be running you through what I'd like to be reading this fall. This is more of a fall hopeful than a fall TBR because you just never know how you're going to be feeling in the moment. At least I don't. But there are a few in here that I will be reading for sure, so I'll let you know when there's one that's set in stone. I sort of have them in three categories. General, like cozy fall vibes, and then like horror thriller, and then just the other category that doesn't really fit into either of those, but books that I for sure want to read. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Starting off with the general cozy fall vibes, the first book I will be reading of the fall 2024 season is We Have Always Lived in the Castle. This one is for sure because I have already started it. I'm about 30 pages in. I felt like this was the perfect book to kick off fall with because, I mean, the vibes are there. This is a Shirley Jackson book, who is one of the horror queens, and it's also quite short, so it's a nice little dip my toe into fall, especially since it's still August, so it's not technically fall. It's fall in my house though. I don't know a whole lot about this yet because I'm just getting into it, but it seems sort of like it might be a gothic horror. We're dealing with a family who's sort of the outcast of the town, and they live in this, they live in this castle, I guess. I don't really know where it's gonna go or what type of horror it is. I don't know if there's supernatural elements or anything, but I can't wait to read it and find out. The next book is also set in stone because it is actually a part of my vampire reading vlog. This will be the second volume of my creature features series. The first one I did was reading only mermaid books, and now I will be reading only vampire books. I'm only going to tell you one of them though, as just like a little teaser because I personally love surprises, so I don't want to give it away. I want you to have something to look forward to with the video, but just so you know what you might be getting into, I will be reading Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I've been saying on my channel pretty much all year that I wanted to read this. What better time than my vampire reading vlog? This is maybe cheating because it's also a werewolf book. Maybe it's not the best fit, but hey, there are vampires, so I'm gonna count it because I want to read it. This is the story of like a vampire princess who has to marry the, I don't know, wolf alpha to try and like bring back peace between the two kingdoms. I think it's like a reluctant love story. I'm a big fan of Ali Hazelwood, so I hope she delivers in the paranormal romance category as well. The last sort of general fall vibe one I have is one that I'm really hopeful to get through because it is actually from my 5-star predictions earlier this year, and that would be Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Every time I think about picking this up, I'm like, ugh, I should save it for fall because everyone tells me it's like the perfect fall, maybe even like fall winter book. I know I need to get on that this year, especially since I have it predicted as a 5-star read. I think I've also just been putting it off because it is sort of thick, but she's a classic and I really do want to read her this season. Moving right along, my next category is my horror thriller selections. The first one is the first Stephen King I'm planning on reading this year, and that would be Pet Sematary. This one has been on my shelf for years, and I just know I'm gonna love it because everyone tells me that. And I did see the movie a while ago, and I remember enjoying it, but I'm hoping that I have forgot enough about it that I will be fully immersed in the story. So this is the main horror I'm hoping to read, and I think this is a good selection. If you don't know, it's about a family who moves into a new house, I think, and there's like a pet cemetery there. The family has a pet cat. Spooky things happen. That's all I really kind of remember or care to say at the moment because I don't want to spoil. Next up, I have 2 thrillers, and I'm not really intending on reading them both, but I couldn't decide which one I want to read. I was hoping you all would let me know which one you think I should read. Maybe you've read them, or if you know my taste, you might know which one I'd prefer. The first one is In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. Now, this one should be high priority because I've had it on my shelf for at least 10 years. Not even an exaggeration, like it has actually been that long. It's kind of feeling like a point of it's now or never. Like I just need to read it and get it over with. I'm a little bit hesitant here because I found Ruth Ware is a little bit hit or miss for me. This is one of her older ones. I just don't know if it's worth it. So if you've read, let me know. But I'm also considering reading All the Dangerous Things. I got this one in a Book of the Month box a while ago, and the premise really intrigues me. It has something to do with a mother who lost her young son. He disappeared. They tried to find him, but the case went cold. But a key detail is that ever since he was missing, she's not been able to sleep. She has severe insomnia, and she thinks that's affecting her ability to truly remember what happened around the time when he went missing. So she gets interviewed by a true crime podcast guy, and I think they try and figure out like what really happened. I really love books where reality is distorted for whatever reason. It sounds like her insomnia is really affecting her ability to remember what's true and what's not. So it does seem like a thriller that I'm really going to enjoy. So I'm leaning towards this one, but I really need to read In a Dark, Dark Wood. And then the last horror I have is The Town That Forgot How to Breathe. I found this at a local indie bookstore, and the premise just sounded so intriguing. I think I just have to read the back straight up to you so that you get the full experience. Something strange is happening in the seaside town of Bearneed. Mythical creatures are being pulled from the sea. Perfectly preserved corpses of long-lost villagers are washing up on the shore, and residents of the town are suddenly overcome by a mysterious illness that is making them forget how to breathe. A page-turning gothic thriller reminiscent of H.P. Lovecraft, The Town That Forgot How to Breathe is a novel of dazzling ambition and strange, haunting loveliness. An absolute triumph of the storyteller's art. That kind of sounds like the perfect book. That kind of sounds amazing. I really love gothic horror, but I love that it says the strange, haunting loveliness. Okay, I need to know what that's about, so I will be reading. To finish it up, I just have some general books that I am hoping to get through in the fall season before the winter months and just like before the end of the year. First of all, I'm planning on doing a reread of the Cruel Prince trilogy, also known as the Folk of the Air trilogy. If you're new here, The Cruel Prince is one of my favorite books of all time. I love this series with my whole heart, but I read it for the first time in 2019, so I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to forget the details. That is the perfect time to do a reread, and I am just so thrilled because I've been wanting to get back into that world. Oh, I just can't wait. And then after that, I really, really want to pick up The Stolen Heir. The Stolen Heir is the spin-off series from The Folk of the Air. I think it's just a duology, but maybe there's a third book coming. I'm not sure. But this is the first one. The main character in this series is Jude from The Cruel Prince, her little brother. From what I've heard, it's pretty far removed from the original trilogy. Apparently, you don't actually need to reread it or really remember those details specifically to enjoy this, but I just want to do a reread anyways because I want to. I don't actually know anything about this story. I just know Oak is grown up now because in The Cruel Prince, he is quite young and now he's probably like 18 or something. And I don't want to read the description because I just want to dive in blind. I just want to be sucked into the story. So I don't know what it's about, but I know it's going to be awesome. I do know that. And then the final book that I have here today is another one that I am for sure going to read because I will be reading it with the Little Library Book Club. And that is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. This is another one that's been on my shelf for a very long time, but I've been hesitant to pick it up just because it is so large and I'm like, I don't know. This is another, I guess, like video game based story. It sort of reminds me of Ready Player One, but it's not Ready Player One. What I know is there is a deep friendship that's explored throughout the novel. Maybe it turns into a romance. I don't really know. They create a video game together, and I think it's just a look at their whole lifetime and how that affects them and their relationship. And my friends that have read it have raved about it, so I'm really, really excited. We're reading this one in September, so I'll be picking this one up pretty soon. And that is what I'm planning to read this fall. Like I said, they're more so hopefuls than a TBR. You just don't know what you're going to be in the mood for, you know? I could switch it up. We'll see about that, but if there are any of these books that you've read and you would highly recommend, please let me know so that I know what to prioritize when I'm reading. And I'd also love to know one book that you're planning on reading this fall, like your absolute must read of the season. Please leave it below in the comments. So with that, signing off. I hope I will see you in the next one.